welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should, because I normally talk about geeky things. And sometimes I sit on my couch and tell you the crazy stories about the reasons why I drink. But this isn't technically a wine story time, because this is actually a lot less traumatic and dramatic than getting Apollo. But now that you guys know the story of how it went down with Apollo, with just the craziness of thinking I wanted to get a collie, finding out that the collie breeder that I had chosen wasn't such a good person, to deciding that I wanted to get another golden retriever, to finding the perfect breeder for me, only to find out that the pregnancy didn't take, thinking then maybe I'll get a golden doodle that was already born, would have come home a month earlier than I had kind of anticipated, then taking a chance on a litter of Goldens that may or may not have enough boys, because I was pretty far down on that list. Ended up working out, finally got Apollo. So that was really, really hard. That's the abridged version. If you guys want to see it happening as I vlog it in real time, you guys can click the video up above and you guys can check that out. If you guys have not seen last week's video, it's longer. So today I thought it would be great to sit down and have a conversation about how I got Cosmo. Because Cosmo's journey was also kind of dramatic, but also not. Nowhere near as tough as Apollo's was. So I had decided I wanted to get a dog shortly after the incident in which I nearly sued my roommate. Now there were a lot of things that made me want to move out of that apartment, and the idea of getting a dog was just one of them. So I lived in this really great apartment. I actually really liked the layout. I thought about that not too long ago. I really loved the layout of that particular apartment. The only way it could have been better, especially when I had a roommate, was the kind where there's bedrooms on either side of the apartment and bathrooms on either side of the apartment. So really the only way that could have been better. But I really liked the layout of that particular apartment. It was really nice. I liked it a lot. However, I never really felt super safe in that apartment by myself, because even though it was a secure entry, there were a lot of really weird, shady things that happened. A guy tried to follow me home once. I ended up just camping out at the Wendy's not too far from my apartment instead. Some guys stopped and tried to get me in their car at one point as I was walking to campus. Just a lot of really kind of shady things happened in that particular apartment, and my mom and I had made the decision that I was going to move. So when I made the decision to move, I said, well, what if I look for a place where I can get a dog and Dakota can come and live with me? Dakota was our German Shepherd. He was a dog that I grew up with. We had two dogs growing up. We had Jack, a Siberian Husky, and a German Shepherd named Dakota. And Jack died very prematurely. He got out of his kennel and ended up getting hit by a car when he was roughly about a year old. And then we got Dakota shortly after that. They did not overlap with one another. So I was about 10 or 11 when we got Dakota, and he was the best dog. I mean, Cosmo's outside. I love Dakota. I love Cosmo and I love Apollo, don't get me wrong, they're my babies. But, you know, there was something special about Dakota and me. We had a very special bond, a very special relationship. And so I thought it would be really great for Dakota to come and live with me. And my mom liked the idea, but she also realized that Dakota was getting older. As a matter of fact, Dakota died right after Cosmo's, or right before, it was June, right before Cosmo's first birthday. So it ended up being probably a good idea. She was like, why don't you think about getting a puppy? And I said, okay. At this time also, I was facing a lot of depression. I had, you know, the trauma of that roommate that lived with me and never paid her bills. I had my first breakup, which I also have discussed on this channel now at this point. And I just had been dealing with a lot of things, just a lot of stuff. Plus I was undiagnosed with PTSD. I was dealing with a lot of EDs. If you guys don't know, I have BED, and I also have, I guess, trigger warning. I'll just bring it up. If you guys don't want to hear this talk, you can skip to this timestamp right here. But this particular portion of the video, I'll talk about eating disorders. I have binge eating disorder. I was dealing with anorexia nervosa. I also had non-purging bulimia, meaning that I would binge and then I would work out to the point that I was in an unhealthy situation. So I've had a lot of eating disorder issues. So I was facing a lot of weird trauma stuff, and it was clear that what I needed was a dog. I needed something that would keep me going. Gotta get out of the way while Mama's filming. Yeah, you gotta be out of the way when Mama's filming. Scooch your back. Gotta be. The dogs have joined us. They were outside. The dogs have now joined us. I don't know how this is gonna work, filming with Apollo on the couch. Yikes. Okay. See that? He lunges at my face. Go play with something. Go play with something. Thank you. Perfect choice. The stuffed elephant. Now the very bowl that Cosmo wanted to drink out of. Probably gonna hear a fight. Nope, nope, Apollo's back. Go play with something that isn't Mom. Okay, anyway, so this is my first time filming with Apollo, aside from the announcement video, which I filmed right after we'd gotten him, so he wasn't this high strung. Anyway, so that's how much he's grown. You guys can check that out. Check out his growth on his Instagram, but also you can check out his growth in the first month. Chewing on, no, don't chew on that. Thank you. You can also, his first month, which will be the final video this month. Anyway, so it was clear I needed to get a dog, an ESA specifically, a therapy dog for what turns out to be my PTSD, which are you two done? Can't we all get along? Yeah? No, we can't. Okay. Hey. Thank you. Okay. This is gonna be so hard. Anyway, so we started the process of figuring out how to do ESA. Okay, no. Okay, I think we're done. Anyway, so we started the process of figuring out the ESA situation and making sure that we were going about it in the correct way. Because as people have brought up a lot, ESA has also been very misused in most recent years. And so whenever I'm almost embarrassed to call Cosmo my ESA, because I don't want people to think that we went the wrong direction, that we did it wrong. No, he's had therapy training work. He has, and so will Apollo. He knows my triggers, and he will try to distract me from those triggers. And he also, if I am panicking, he knows how to ground me properly. I mean, so Apollo, this needs to stop. 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 I'm looking forward to when you want to spend like an hour outside so I can film. So we started that process of figuring out how that works, and because it was brand new to all of us, like none of us knew anything about it. I mean, Dakota, both Jack and Dakota were pretty much outside dogs. Dakota slept inside. Jack slept outside. He was a Siberian Husky, and we live in Minnesota, so like our winter is perfect for him, was perfect for him. So he loved being outside. Which ended up being his undoing. Dakota, not so much. Dakota liked being inside, but the problem with Dakota was that he thought cats were food. So since we had so many cats in the house because we fostered, it was really hard to have him in the house for the day. So he was outside, he was inside at night, and he was not really kenneled. We didn't really crate train. Actually, Apollo is the first dog I've ever actually fully crate trained. Even Cosmo was never crate trained, which I think is why it was so hard to potty train him. Like Apollo's pretty much already potty trained, and he's not even 4 months yet. I think Cosmo was like 6 or 7 months by the time I considered him like fully potty trained. Anyway, yeah, you like squeaking that toy? Anyway, So, I started that process, plus I started the process of trying to figure out what kind of dog I wanted. I had originally thought about getting a St. Bernard. St. Bernards are my favorite breed of dog. Shh, don't tell the golden retrievers in my house. And actually, that was a conversation we had this time too, my mom actually gave me permission, both my parents actually gave me permission. They said, if you really want a St. Bernard, go ahead and get a St. Bernard. And because they know how much I want to get one. I've always wanted a St. Bernard. They're my favorite breed of dog. But the only reason I didn't even look into it this time was because I live in a studio and I already have the largest golden retriever ever. Actually, people will ask me, because a lot of people who know me in real life know that St. Bernards are my favorite breed of dog. Golden retrievers are my second favorite breed of dog. Always have been because of Beethoven and Homeward Bound. I always wanted a golden retriever too. That was always on the list of dogs I wanted to get, and I just fell in love with the breed so much that I think whilst I am living in a city situation, golden retrievers are the way I'm going to always go. But the only reason I really didn't look at it too much this time was because of the fact that, hello friend, this is not going to work when you're 70 pounds. Anyway, actually I don't think he's going to get to a full 70. I think he's going to be more like 60. He's not going to be very big. I'm going to ask the vet on Tuesday what she thinks. Anyway, but I live in a studio apartment, already have this massive golden retriever, and would only ever get another big dog. So I was like, a St. Bernard might just be too much for where I'm living. And once I get a place with you know, acreage, I've always wanted like a hobby farm, then I'd consider getting a St. Bernard. But while I'm living here in basically a studio apartment, it just doesn't make sense. So another golden retriever it became. Oh, he wants to go outside again. Go play with that pine cone. Don't know where he found the pine cone. There are no pine trees in our backyard. Where he found a pine cone, I will never know. Anyway, after I found out that there was literally no apartment in St. Cloud that would allow a big enough dog for me to be able to get a St. Bernard, I decided to go with the golden retriever. So I started looking for golden retriever breeders, and I found one. And I've always wanted, what's weird is, the reason I love Goldens is because of Homeward Bound, right? So you would think that I would look for a dog that looks like Shadow from Homeward Bound, which is, it's actually, he would be considered, if I'm looking at him correctly, a British breed, but a really dark British breed, because British breeds tend to be a lot lighter. American breeds tend to be a lot darker. And so Cosmo's a mix of American and British breed. His dad was a British breed, and his mom was an American breed. Apollo is pure American breed golden. I somehow had fallen in love with the idea of getting a red golden. I have no idea why I had fallen in love with this idea of getting a red golden, but I did. I fell in love with the idea of getting a red golden. So that's what I looked for. And I found a breeder that I actually reached out to again this time. Now that I wanted to do agility, I figured that they may actually accept it. But they denied me because they didn't want, I mean, aside from me saying he's going to be a therapy ESA, a therapy trained ESA, now in order to be ESA you don't have to go through therapy training, but it is recommended because obviously therapy training will help for people who have anxiety and having panic attacks or having very negative thoughts. And so it's easier to ground the person. It's easier for them to be active versus just there and giving you a reason to live, essentially. But anyway, not the point. That wasn't enough for this breeder to want to give me a dog, because I mean, the tail of a good breeder also means they'll vet you just as much as you vet them. So I like when breeders ask me questions, or breeders that are kind of picky about who their dogs go to, that kind of thing. And so I got turned down by them, and I was kind of disheartened. And then I finally stumbled across the place I got Cosmo from. And when I contacted them, I was like, hey, I'm just curious. They started talking to me about their dogs, talking to me about their farm, talking to me about kind of her history. She was a vet tech. She was a retired vet tech. So she knew exactly what she needed to do. He is full AKC registered. I think I have full registration on him. I didn't have to neuter him, but I did. I do have to neuter. Well, I don't technically have to neuter. I have limited registration on Apollo, so I can't breed Apollo, which is fine. Anyway, so it's actually what it says on his paperwork, that any pups from him cannot be AKC registered. Anyway, but he was gonna have full AKC registration, and they, you know, worked on potty training prior to leaving the house, leaving the litter, and they have some female dogs and some male dogs, and they just breed them. And she was having two litters right around the same time. And so I was going to have like second pick, I think, of males in the first litter and first pick of males in the second litter. And I said, well, let me see what the first litter looks like, and then we'll go from there. Because the mom of the first litter was really, really light. And the dad was pretty light, so I figured these were going to be pretty light dogs. And they were very light dogs. And she goes, the second litter should have darker puppies because the mom is a red golden. And I was like, perfect. So I said, let's wait for the second litter. Second litter was born, and I went with the second litter, obviously, and I had first pick of boys from that litter. And I mean, so that was really it. That was the biggest drama, was I was turned down by one breeder. So the day I went to go get Cosmo was really fun, because it was just me and my mom. We drove out to Spooner, Wisconsin. We stopped at Dairy Queen. It was the very first time I ever had a flamethrowing burger, because it was like brand new at the time or whatever. And I was actually unimpressed, which is so weird because it's what I get whenever I go to Dairy Queen now. But I was kind of unimpressed because it wasn't as spicy, so I think they must have changed the ingredients at some point. Anyway, not the point of this video. So we went to go pick him up. I got to meet both parents because they were both there. Unlike Apollo, his dad, the breeder only has two females, so they studded out for the dad. So the dad obviously was not on property, but that's fine. That doesn't bother me so much, because as long as you can prove that he's a golden retriever, which they've done with the AKC registration, I'm fine. Okay, but you need to calm down. Go play with something. Can you go play with something? Okay, you can sit with mom. That's fine. As long as you sit nice and are nice, you can sit with mom. Anyway, so I got to meet all of their dogs. Actually, all their dogs were available. Even some of the puppies that were still left over from that litter, from that first litter, were still around. And how I picked Cosmo is very different from how I picked Apollo. I picked Apollo from the very first video that I saw of the puppies when they were first born. I had this fixation on this puppy with a black collar, So a lot of times breeders, so that they can kind of understand the personalities a little bit, they'll actually put these like whelping collars on them of different colors. And his just happened to be black. And for some reason I had this fixation on the puppy with the black collar. And so I was like, well, if the puppy with the black collar is still there when I go pick up the puppy, then that's the puppy I'm gonna get. And sure enough, it was one of the two puppies I got to choose from. The one with the black collar and the one with the red collar were the ones I got to choose from. And I immediately just was like, I know who Apollo is. And so with Cosmo, it's very different. So Cosmo, they didn't necessarily ID the puppies when with Cosmo's litter. So for Cosmo, it was very different. Because I had first pick of puppies, of males, they just had the males all in this playpen. And I guess some people had come to visit the litter prior and kind of had their heart set on a puppy. I did not pick that puppy. And I didn't know anything about that until after I picked Cosmo, because then that was when she was like, oh, okay, can I check in real quick because I just want to see something. And he goes, okay, it's not the one. And I was like, what are you talking about? And that's when she said, is, you know, this family that's coming after me, they have second pick. They came to meet the puppies because they're pretty close by. I mean, Spooner for me was like a 2.5 hour drive from St. Cloud. So it wasn't like I could go meet the puppies and then come back some other time. But these people were a little bit closer. So they came to meet the puppies and they kind of fell in love with one. And they're like, and she was like, I can't guarantee this puppy will be here because there's somebody that's coming for a puppy beforehand. But I did not pick that puppy, so they got that puppy, which I'm very happy for them. I hope he's doing well. Anyway, so what ended up happening with that litter was I went to go look at all the puppies, and they were all jumping, being crazy, being, you know, puppies. And then the mother walked by. Molly was her name. The mama walked by. His mama's name is Bella. His dad's name is Hell's Bells. No wonder you are the way you are. Anyway, so Cosmo's dad's name is Benjamin. Was, I guess I don't know if Molly or Benjamin are still alive. Probably not, considering Cosmo's about to be 13. Actually, upon seeing this, Cosmo turned 13 yesterday, so probably not. Now that I think about it, probably not. Anyway, and I hope all of his litter mates are still alive. Again, probably not. There were 10 of them. Anyway, there were 10 puppies. He had 9 brothers and sisters. Anyway, there were 6 of these guys. Anyway, so I went to go, so the mother walks by, and all but one puppy followed the mother. And this one puppy, what do you have in your mouth? I swear, having a puppy is like having an infant and a toddler all at the same time. You have to constantly be changing them and taking care of them on a constant, every single moment basis. But common themes are often said, which is, what's in your mouth? Put that down. Stay away from that. Don't pee on the floor. Don't pee on my couch. He may or may not have peed on my couch and peed on my shorts. Anyway. Jury's still out. I need my mother here to smell it. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, so there was one puppy that just sat there with this like just doofy look on his face. Just sat there, just looking up at me. So I leaned over and I asked, "Are you Cosmo?" And he gave me just this big old lick on the nose. And at that point, all the other puppies were like, "Oh, the human is like interacting." And they came running back. So I just grabbed him and I said, "This is Cosmo." And that was when the breeder came up to me and double checked to see if I had taken the one that the couple wanted, or that family wanted. Because it was like a family, like a young family. A couple with 2 very young kids. And like I said, I didn't take him. So I'm very happy that they got that puppy. But anyway, so that was the story. And I don't think I've ever really told the story about how I got Cosmo's name. I might have somewhere down the line said that somewhere. But Cosmo's name was actually really hard to come by. So was Apollo's. Apollo, I went through a lot of names with Apollo. At one point his name was going to be Stout, because I wanted to keep it the alcoholic theme, which we'll get to when I talk about Cosmo's. His name was going to be Stout for a while. His name was going to be, actually, I always thought when I got another golden retriever, his name would be Merlot, because I was going to get a red golden, a true red, like what Apollo will most likely be, a true red. I was going to get a true red, and I was going to name him Merlot. But then when I decided to get a golden, that went away because I was like, I don't like that name anymore. So his name was going to be Stout for a little while, back when it was still a collie. And I didn't like that. Then it was going to be Sydney for a minute. And then it was going to be, because I was like, well, let's go back to the city theme that technically Cosmo's name was sort of derived from, which again we'll get to in a second. So his name was going to be Sydney for a little while, which I still liked. But then I was like, but now it's like I have Nova and I have Cosmo, which are both space themed. So I was like, well, let's think of a space theme. And that's where I came across Apollo. And I texted my mom, and mom goes, that's it. So that's how Apollo got his name. But Cosmo's name came from, I was trying to name him after a city. And I was like, well, if I got a girl, I would name her Brooklyn. And I thought that'd be kind of fun. So we tried the other New York boroughs, and none of them kind of worked out. Like Bronx was really cool. I like the name Bronx a lot, but I feel like Bronx should be like a Mastiff. Like that would be like a St. Bernard name. That's not the St. Bernard name I have in mind. I already know my St. Bernard's gonna be named. And I love it, and it won't change. But you know, it needs to be like a Mastiff, like a St. Bernard, or some of those giant breed Mastiffs, right? And then there was Queens, and I was like, that doesn't work. You know, I could name him Queenie, but again, I don't love that. Then there was Manhattan. We thought Manny, but I didn't like that. Staten Island, you couldn't shorten. So then my mom went, no, I went Metropolitan. And I was like, you really can't shorten that. And then Mom, as a joke, goes, Cosmopolitan. Because at the time, my mother and I were obsessed with Cosmopolitans. To this day, my mother still drinks a variety, her own kind of version of a Cosmopolitan. But we were obsessed with Cosmopolitans at the time. And so I just kind of laughed at that and then went, Cosmo. And Mom went, Cosmo. And so then that was how Cosmo's name was born. So I knew Cosmo's name before I went to go pick him up. Same thing with Apollo. You'll see next week, I actually already had a bowl with his name on it. He's got a collar coming with his name on it. The collar he has on right now is just this puppy collar that I got on clearance the day before I got him. Because I was like, I should probably pick up a collar. I hadn't done that yet. Well, actually, originally I was going to do, why do you bite? That hurts. Anyway, I was originally going to do a harness. Okay, you don't want me to pet you anymore? Fine, I won't pet you ever again. Anyway, I was originally going to do a harness because a lot of times collars can be tough when you're walking dogs. Ouch! I lost my train of thought. Oh, but then I realized he's probably not going to be on leash very much because he has such a big backyard that he can just get most of his exercise running around back there. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Cosmo doesn't go on a ton of walks anymore, you know, because he gets plenty of his exercise outside. Now, Apollo, once he's old enough, he'll go on our long walks. But Cosmo and I used to go on when he's bigger, but he's too small for that yet. But yeah, you're cute. Yeah, you're nice. But yeah, so those are the differences between how I got Cosmo and how I got Apollo. That was almost disastrous. Can I finish my video, please? Scoot your butt. This is Apollo's YouTube channel now. Do you have something to say? Gotta look into the camera and say it. Can you move? Scooch. Scooch your butt. Anyway, so yeah, that's the difference between how I got Cosmo and how I got Apollo. They were very different stories, but both of them involved me finding a dog through a breeder. Now, like I said last week's video, I have no place in my heart for people who are judgmental about how anybody gets a dog. However somebody chooses to get a dog, as long as they bring that dog into a loving home, it doesn't matter. Do I think puppy mills need to be shut down? Absolutely. Do I think breeders need to be shut down? No. I have a lot of reasons why I like breeders, especially when it comes to like dogs that are meant to be service dogs, like seeing eye dogs. Obviously, that is not the case for either one of these two, but seeing eye dog breeders specifically breed them to have better eyesight so that they can help their owners better. You know, in my case, I'm not going to talk about why I chose to go for a breeder because I don't feel like it is anybody's business but my own as to what decision I make for my own life. It was the right decision for me, and that's all that matters, is it was the right decision for me. If going through a shelter is the right decision for you, then fantastic. That should not be judged. Just like it should not be judged for me making the right decision for myself, which was to go through a breeder. As long as you give a dog a loving home, that's all that matters. So I will not stand for any kind of judgment about my choices because you don't know my life. You don't know the reasons I made the choices that I made. I do not agree with Adopt Don't Shop. I said that last week. I do not agree with Adopt Don't Shop because that movement has become so judgmental over people like me that it has done a lot more harm than good in the pet parent realm. I give my dogs the best life I possibly can. I have a 13-year-old golden retriever. That should tell you how well I take care of my animals and how much of a loving home they live in. He has been safe and loved his entire life. Dakota was also 13 when he passed. Jack was a completely different situation. Yeah, I don't stand for judgment when it comes to somebody's personal life and what decisions they make that is right for them. If it's right for you, make that decision. And not destroying the world. I'm not doing harm by going to a reputable breeder. So don't judge my life because you have a different opinion. Anyway, that's the end of my soapbox there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below anything you think I should know about your life as a pet parent, or if you were to get a dog, what breed of dog would you get? And would you get a dog from a breeder, or would you go to a shelter? What is your, what would be the right decision for you? I would love to know that in the comments below. Otherwise, if you guys want to see the video in which I announce Apollo and tell his story on a more serious direction, go ahead and click here. If you guys want to see what the algorithm thinks is best for you on my channel, you guys can click right here. Click here to subscribe to my vlogging channel. Click here to subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell for notifications on both those channels. Lots of puppy content coming for both those channels, obviously. My vlogs are picking up again. I am actually filming one today. My phone is now dead because of filming a vlog for the first time in a month. But this is obviously going to pick up after the end of the videos starting up this month. So that's all I got. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye!